Hey everybody, it's Tori from Avalon Enchanted. I'm gonna just see if I can try and do one thing before I get too started, before I get too far into this. Let's do that. So I hope everybody is doing well. My name is Tori, and I am from Avalon Enchanted. This is the recorded version of our Facebook Live that we do. With the recorded version, what I do is I actually um, add in extra details, and then when I send that up to our YouTube channel, it gives you more information. It gives you more, um, sometimes extra readings, sometimes discounts of stuff, all sorts of stuff. So I'm glad that you're catching us on a replay. Always, we try and do the Ascended Illuminations reading on a Thursday night. And then the plan is to get it up on YouTube by 12 noon the next day. So um, I've had some really interesting stuff going on. Please remember to hit the bell and follow, and share our page with your friends. Um, that helps us get a better idea of how far the video goes. But Avalon Enchanted is a small psychic and healing arc studio in Wickford, Rhode Island, um, owned and operated by me and my business partner, Cindy. So we offer readings, we offer energy healings, classes, one-on-one personal training, coaching sessions for spiritual development and things like that. So right now, I know I put out on Facebook to see if anyone see what interest people have with what they'd like to see coming up in the next few months. So if you do have any feedback of things that you would like to see or participate in that you would like to, that you're interested in, let us know. You can always shoot us a message. You can always reach me at Tori, Tori, at AvalonEnchanted.com. And we can always go from there. So the way that the Ascended Illuminations works, okay, weekly, what we do is we pull 3 cards. In this case, I pulled a koala bear, who is all about inner journeys. This is actually from my deck of Animal Dreaming Oracle card. It's all Australian animals. Cockatoo, Illumination. And Whale, Record Keeper. So we basically do a reading for each card, 1, 2, and 3. Earlier in the day, I posted on Facebook the images of the cards, and you basically chose which card you're most drawn to. I do a reading for each, and then based upon that, that is your reading. So that's kind of how that operates. So today, I actually went to a salt cave. And I actually went to a salt cave in Middletown, and I really enjoyed it. It's not the first time that I've been. Um, I've been finding myself a little bit congested. And this tends to happen at this time of year for me, with sinus infections and so on. So to try and be preemptive, I decided that I was going to go in for another salt cave therapy treatment in order to try and get ahead of this and to try and dry some of that out. Nice thing about it is I can actually breathe. And it was a great experience. I've been to one other one, which I really enjoyed as well. I think the biggest thing is, which side of the bridge do I want to go to? Do I want to go to um, Middletown, Rhode Island, or do I want to go to Wakefield, Rhode Island, because that is where the other one is located. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do some different things with one of the salt caves coming up. That's one of my plans. There's been some other things that are going on that are in the works that I'm really excited about. Right now I'm looking to actually diversify. And what do I mean by that? Well, what that means is I'm actually looking to have the ability to be able to um, work with one of the other things that I really love, which is travel. So I'm actually going to be starting working with um, a travel business, a travel company, to be able to book different travels. Um, and I'm going to, down the road, the plan is to be able to offer this with some programs that I might do with sacred travel to sacred sites, um, things like that. So that is in the works. We've made another step even closer to this yesterday, and I'm really super excited about it. There'll be more coming out on it, I promise. Some other things as well going on that are new. So on that, I'm still trying to nail down a potential venue. So be on the lookout for some things that might be going on in the excuse me, in the either Newport area or North Kingstown area, or even the South County, Rhode Island area. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the people for the Ascended Illuminations, and we're going to get everything started. So bear with me for a moment. Let me reduce this. Push this to here. I always get tripped up with all the technology stuff. Live video. Hit play. And now I need to bring that into here. Give me a moment. We'll also give some time for people to show up and log in. This is the part that is always fun, waiting for people to come in. What do I want to do? I'll copy that link. What did I just do? Oh, even better. Hey, Renea, how are you? So I just put that on my personal page as well. Things are going well. Things have definitely been interesting. So tonight I'm doing the Ascended Illuminations reading for January 30th through February 5th. It's been a wild time. There's also been some interesting things that have been going on, which I'll share with you guys on Facebook as well. But as you might remember, I put out already the ABC, or in this case, the 1, 2, 3 cards. So this is 1, the koala, inner journey. Cockatoo, elimination. And then whale, record keeper. Okay. So koala is 1, cockatoo is 2, whale, record keeper is 3. I'm doing well. Actually, I just went to a salt cave today, um, in Middletown, which I was really excited about. I've been feeling kind of congested. So, I'm trying that as a way of trying to kind of get ahead of some of the stuff that I usually get at this time of the year, like sinus infections and bronchitis and good stuff like that. So starting my reading for koala, we're going to see what one has in store for us. And I'm also going to pull a card from the Divine Masters deck. So we'll see who else is coming forward for that too. Hmm. So Saturday night, there's still a few spots left. I'm actually doing a ceremony for Bridget. It's the ceremony on Imbolc, which in pagan tradition is when we would bring in the first rays of spring. Usually that's when the snowdrops would start to literally poke through the snow, and we start to see longer days and things like that. So generally with Imbolc, it is all about rebirth. It's all about new things kind of coming up and coming to fruition and things like that. So there's still a couple spots left in that particular event on Saturday, the 1st of February. We still have spots open in the Galentine's Day table tipping. So that's in person. So it's actually $99 a pair, so it's a little bit cheaper. Um, we also have what else do we got going on? We also have a really cool event that I'm planning on February 22nd. It's actually on Stargates. So Stargates, portals, things like that all around the world, especially at some of the sacred sites and some of the theories behind that. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also going to be teaching by donation on Zoom on fairy magic on the 26th. And I know Cindy is going to be doing some great events with that to help us focus on overcoming spiritual burnout on the 25th. And some things like that. I know she has another event planned as well on the 28th. So that's going to be quite exciting. I've actually posted the calendars on Facebook, on Eventbrite, on Instagram, and so on. So let's see what we got for the koala. I'm not gonna lie, the koala, which is inner journeys, is all about literally extricating yourself out of things, whether it be extricating yourself out of stagnancy, whether it be overcoming something that you know is not good for you. But literally there's the need in order to move forward. There's the need in terms of this, I like to call it the screw it, I'm out of here card, right? So that's kind of what's ahead of us. And I feel like by making that, by making this decision, you may have been on the fence about it for a while. And it's kind of like the universe is saying, okay, well, you know what? If you're not going to do it, we're going to do it for you. So I would say go with the flow and follow what the universe is telling you to do, because if you fight it, it's gonna be painful. Okay. Um, there's a lot of emotions running. I mean, I got the Queen of Cups, I got the King of Cups, I got the Eight of Cups. I also have the Star card, where she's also pouring water. So there's just a lot that you're definitely going to need to be aware of. And I feel like there's going to be a need for you to really dig deep. I do feel like there's a good amount of support, but this is a time for you to really kind of literally work on your inner journeys, work on your ability to move forward and to bring in and manifest what it is that you want. Because there's certainly things that you know you want to bring in, you know you need to make changes, but something might be holding you back to do that. So right now, this is kind of the kick in the pants to say, okay, we got to do this. All right. Like I said, there's support. This is going to be something that it's interesting because we also have the Queen of Wands, who is certainly very fiery. Wands are all about fire. And it's almost like burning away what you don't need, digging deep, doing the work, really kind of giving yourself the credit, having hope and looking forward. Now, you are going to find that there are going to be some times this week where you're not necessarily seeing everything, you're not seeing the whole picture on things. And that's because it's almost like you're being told you don't need to see it at this time. Because if you're kind of, if you see kind of some of the other things that are coming up for you, then you might find yourself jumping directly to that instead of going from A to B to C. Okay. So kind of that's where I'm feeling that is where that's coming in at. Um, God, there's so much water. It's crazy. Literally the water on the moon card, the water on the star card. Let's see who comes forward. Oh, Elmoira, spiritual force field, protective light is surrounding you. You're safe. Okay, Elmoira. That's Elmoira. All right. So, to me, this is, what you need to do. You know that you need to go with the flow. And literally, as I was there in the cave today, I heard, "Be like the Nile. Find yourself in flow. Find yourself surrendering to the flow." So that was something that I know I needed to hear today. So that is really kind of where I'm feeling this particular reading is coming in at. There were some other things that came up while I was in the cave. There are things that I was focusing on for me, which I'll talk about in the YouTube feed. So you guys gotta have to click over to the YouTube feed, which will be up tomorrow on the YouTube channel. So um but this is really about taking the time, working through your emotions, making the decision before this decision is made for you. I'm going to pull another card, and I got the 5 of cups. Again, my nose is itchy, which usually means spirits around. 5 of cups is not necessarily focusing on your journey. You may be very, very tempted to kind of focus on what went down in the past, and I almost feel like that's going to be the part that trips you up, which could very well be why we're having the moon card. If we are still busy focusing on what went down and what we don't have, and instead of, the fact that we're in a good place and that we're moving forward, literally here, we're starting a new adventure. We're starting a new opportunity. So question is, are you going to focus on this, or are you going to focus on this? You know, the Fool, literally new journey, versus the 5 of cups where he's all emu and focusing on what he doesn't have, So you got to ask yourself that. And I almost feel like there are going to be times this week where you kind of have to remind yourself, are you going to be Mr. 5 of Cups emu, or are you going to be Mr. Um Fool, with your journeys this week. So that's something really important I feel to say. All right. And again, Elmoira, don't worry, you have support. You have spiritual support too. All right, let's take a look at 2, which is the cockatoo, and it's all about illumination, which I find funny considering we call this the Ascended Illuminations. So literally we're combining the Ascended Masters cards, and we got the cockatoo, which is all about illumination. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's see what we got going on for the cockatoo. So when I was in the salt cave today, there were some really interesting things that stepped forward. I also used that as an opportunity for a healing for myself. And I was shown some pretty wild things, um, which I'm really excited about. One more shuffle, and then I'm gonna pull the cards for 2. All right. All right. Hey, Connie. All right, so we got the Emperor crossed by the 2 of Wands. In the past is the Lovers. Beneath us is the Two of Coins. Ahead of us is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so we got the Page of Swords. We got the Six of Swords. There's the Queen of Wands again. There's the Three of Pentacles again. Knight of Wands. Huh. Page of Wands. Okay. Two of Swords. So this week I went on and asked that I mentioned that I have just been absolutely super aggravated. Just stupidness, just aggravation. Aggravated with just situations, aggravated with interactions, you name it. So, and I know that when I posted it, there's other people that are feeling it too. So I'm glad to know that I'm not alone. Interesting. So I pulled the Ascended Master card and I got Kali Ma, who is Divine Severance, and that is cut the cords to dramas, fears, and limitations. Now she looks kind of scary, and she technically is a destruction goddess, which is interesting, falling on the heels of illumination. Okay. So to me, this is really a whole new cycle beginning. And it's one of those things where you're gonna have to kind of, it's not gonna be an easy road. But I do feel like you're gonna find that there's a lot more that you rely on for yourself that you're gonna be pleasantly surprised about. The interesting thing that I'm taking away from this particular spread is that the Six of Swords is always about moving out of the choppy water into the clear sailing. So it's kind of like your journey this week is what you make of it. All right. Um, there's a lot that is kind of coming into focus for you. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to need to kind of literally pare away or chop away that you don't need, that's not serving you well. And there are going to be possibly some decisions. I always liken the Two of Swords. I can go this way or this way, like in the Wizard of Oz, right? So this is something that's interesting because you have some decisions to make. And question is, how are you going to make them? First thing is first, I want to also mention with the Page of Swords, this guy is kind of in a defensive stance. If he's in a defensive stance, he might not necessarily be letting some of the new stuff that needs to come in. Again, with the message that I got in the cave, be like the Nile, go with the flow. Yes, there's a need for protection. Yes, there's a need for using your discernment. But in the same token, sometimes we have to say the universe has our back and we are on a journey that the universe is putting us in the universe is putting us in a path that is in our highest and best, with the learning lessons that we need to learn. We always want to try and make sure that we learn these lessons gently, and things like that. But to me, there's some choices to make. And are you going to allow yourself to make those choices, or are you going to fight them? There's, like I said, there's a lot of creativity with wands. You do have support. Don't let your temper get in the way. Again, wands are really fiery. Wands are all about creativity, creation, things like that. And interestingly enough, Kali Ma, as I said, is being a destruction goddess, is all about burning away what we don't need. So are we going to allow this controlled burn? And if so, we're going to need to basically kind of allow the, let the universe know that we are surrendering to it, you know. And that can very much be a very illuminating thing, knowing the fact that maybe you're not necessarily fully in control of this can be very illuminating. We'd also like to talk about shadow work, illumination is putting a light on something, and that's also one of the parts of shadow work. When we talk about shadow work, we talk about identifying maybe what has been bothering us, or what has been our pitfalls over the years. It could very well be something that's tied into past lives and things like that. But we take it a step further, and not only do we look and see what it is, we make it less scary. We put the light on it and we identify it in terms of, okay, what really is it about that we own versus maybe what somebody else owns. And if there is somebody else that owns part of it, that's on them, not on you, right? Coming to terms with that part and allowing yourself the opportunity to transform this energy into something else, you know? So using this fire is a form of transmutation, and this makes total sense. With all of the wands and Kali Ma and illumination, we're using the fire to transmute what we've had or what we don't need in order to bring in what we want and what's coming in for us, by allowing the universe to kind of take control of things. Okay, so we got the King of Cups. It's an emotional roller coaster, but we can do it. We may still find that there are pieces that we might not necessarily be focusing on that came into fruition that we wanted, and kind of overthinking that. But what I'm going to say is be very present in your be very let me try that again. Be very present this week. Okay? Be very present in your thoughts this week, and focus on the transmutation, focus on literally turning alchemy, the art of turning lead into gold, or in this case with spiritual alchemy, it's turning thoughts of one thing into something else, or even eliminating it completely and moving it somewhere that it can't affect anybody else. So that's actually very illuminating, because you're going to find out things about yourself. You're going to find out things about the situation that maybe you didn't see when you were looking at it in a different light. Okay. So that's kind of where we are with B or 2, the cockatoo and illumination. So let me just shuffle for the third one, which is the whale, about record keeper. While I talk about that, let's see. Let me put Kalima back in the pack. I also released the schedule for March. So we are actively putting in all of the different events for March up on Eventbrite in the next day or so. Some may very well already be there, but there's others that are going to be coming into Eventbrite. So definitely follow Eventbrite. If you follow it, that's going to alert you when new things open up. With the fact that we have such a small space, we're kind of limited with the number of people that we can have at things. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So when you see it, jump on it. There are some other things that we have some irons in the fire on, both Cindy and myself, that we're looking at, maybe some collaborations, maybe something that might kind of be really healing and nurturing, things like that. And then there's also going to be some stuff in March where Avalon Enchanted is actually going to be going on the road. So I'm going to be going to Cancun in March. And I will be actually going mid-March. And I will be definitely doing some videos while I'm there. I may be doing some readings while I'm there, and so on. So stay tuned on that. All right, let's take a look at whale record keeper. That's the third. We got the hermit. Okay, we got the fire, or I should say the tower card, which is all about fire and shakeups. In the past is the sun. Beneath us is the Eight of Pentacles. Above us is the Nine of Wands, and he doesn't look happy. Three of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Six of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. All right. Let's see who pops up for this. What Ascended Master pops up. Usually when this happens, I try and shuffle and see who pops up. We actually had two cards pop up, so we're going to take both of them. So we got Kali Ma again. And we got Guru Ram Dass. Guru Ram Dass is a miraculous moment. Harmony surrounds you. Expect miracles. Okay. And then Kali Ma again. All right. All right. So I also want to find out a little bit about whale record keeper. So give me a second. So this is actually, the whale record keeper is actually from the deck Animal Dreaming Oracle cards by Scott Alexander King. And they're all Australian animals. So let's see. So whales ask us to remember the earth as our mother and reconnect with her, and the soul connection we forged at the beginning of time. Whale is a keeper of Earth Mother's sacred records. She witnesses the process that collectively authenticates the spiritual makeup of Earth and the memories of each and every event that has ever and ever will contribute to her shaping. Then stores them within her dreaming. Whales helps us remember the spiritual story of the areas most significant to our personal journey and offers ways to enhance our medicine, our lives, and the planet as a whole. So, it talks about the vaults of creation are being opened, offering you access to the sacred knowledge stored within. And whale is journeying with you to guide you back to the deep core of rhythm. And instinctual connections to the cycles of life. Remember your personal truth and wisdom and how to reconnect with the heartbeat of the universal mother. So rebirth, emotional body, reviving your physicality by tapping into the knowledge of your own genetic memory. So maybe some DNA healing, focusing on some of that stuff. Maybe some past life contract stuff. But let's talk a little bit about this. So we definitely do have some upheaval that maybe you're going through now or have been going through or about to go through, because right now this is what's the current situation. And it's interesting that we got this now, because this kind of reminds me of some other stuff that's currently going on. So Pentacles are also all about Earth. And again, with the fact that the whale is the Earth record keeper, this is about listening to the sound of things, listening to the earth, listening to your past, listening to your ancestors, listening to listening to your ancestors and listening to Mother Earth. There are rewards that are coming in for you, and things are going to be you're going to be divinely inspired. So I do feel like there's some really great outcomes, but you got to be patient. Okay. This is a week to really be patient and not force things. It's like taking the puzzle piece and kind of forcing it into a space that it's not meant for. Don't do that. Um, it's encouraging you to, like I said, with the fact that we got this right as far as part of the current situation, this is really about getting rid of the limitations, the fears, and things like that, and allowing yourself to kind of dig in and go to work and focus on the matters at hand. There's definitely a coming together, with the 2 of Cups. There's stuff coming in that I feel like you're not definitely not alone. There's definitely support for you, and certainly with the 6 of Pentacles as well. There's a lot more support that for that you than you think, and I do feel that could very well be why we wound up with both of these cards popping up. Miraculous moments, harmony surrounds you, expect miracles. Things will come about, but don't rush them. And this is explaining why we needed to get through this. Okay. So let me see what it says about Guru Ramdas, because I do not know about him. Let's see. Look under G for Guru. Here's Green Tara. Moira. I'm just gonna have to look you up in the front and find out where you are, dude. I think you're probably under R for Ramdas. Interestingly enough, why am I not seeing this guy? That's really weird. You'd think Guru Ramdas. Could he be under Das? No. Not under the G's. I see Rama and Sita. Well, this is a head scratcher, boys and girls. Because I am literally going through the front of this book to try and figure out what's going on with him. See if this is it. Ah, Guru Ramdas, 118. Okay. He was hiding. So he is the 4th guru of the Sheiks, serving from 1574 until 1581. Born as Jetha in Lahore, he was orphaned at 7 and raised by his maternal grandmother. When he was 12, they moved to the city of Goindwal, where he met Guru Amar Das. Feeling a deep calling from within, Jetha took him as a mentor and teacher and later married his daughter. Instead of choosing one of his own sons as his successor, Guru Amar Das chose Jetha and renamed him Ram Das, which is servant of God. So Guru Ram Das was the founder of the holy city of uh, Amritsar, created by the Sikhs, even though there was a lot of unrest. At the time, through the selfless service and conviction, he and his devotees were able to pacify and restore the Holy Land. Thus, his energy helps make the impossible possible. Okay, that's kind of interesting with him popping up today. So his message is focused on, even if the odds are stacked against you, you're being guided to expect miracles. If you feel that there are energies, people, or situations trying to stop you from being yourself, from living the life that you feel called to live, know that by staying connected to God, you will prevail, and don't allow anyone or anything to stand between you. So he wants you to know that all things are possible and that you are worthy of light, healing, abundance, and support. And if you feel that the miracle you need is too huge to achieve, then you must know that you are only limited by your mind. Don't measure what seems possible, just trust and let the miracle become reality. Okay. All right. So that's kind of interesting. With record keeper, we are kind of looking at new things coming in, you know? So I do think that that is kind of important, and again, we gotta be patient, and we gotta make sure that we're being really careful with how we are focusing on our talk, how we're focusing on our manifesting. It's there. We just gotta get through this, all right? And not be focused on waiting for another shoe to drop, okay? It's doable. You have the support, and this definitely proves the fact that you have the support. There are going to be some needs to kind of clear the foundation, but trust in the miracles, okay? Trust in the miracles. If I pull one more card, okay, I got the 8 of Wands. Then I got the Hanged Man. So to me, this is you have a choice. And you can either just kind of do nothing, or you can write it right side up. You can write it right side up. Okay. And I see that there's a lot of abundance if you are in the mindset of switching it from being, upside down to right side up. All right. So it's on you, and it can happen quickly. You may find that some of the windfalls happen very quickly this week. The universe and spirit is telling you and is supporting you. So don't be afraid. So that is our 1, 2, 3 reading for the week of January 30th through February 5th. Again, the calendar for um, February and March are up. I've actually pinned them to my Facebook page. I've pinned them to the Avalon Enchanted Facebook page. I've also pinned them to the Instagram page. So all of our events are on Eventbrite. So, and there's a lot of cool things that are coming up in February as well as March and down the road. So definitely stay tuned. Again, if you didn't see the whole thing or if you missed parts of this, check out the replay. I really encourage you, check out the replay. That will be posted on our YouTube channel by 12 noon tomorrow. Is when I usually get that up by. That's my plan, at least, to get it up by 12 noon of the following day, if possible, unless there's something big going on for me. So you may want to check out the replay and see some other things that we're going to talk about that you're not going to want to miss. So I'm going to actually leave the Facebook people here, and we're going to then go ahead and chat a little bit more. So take care, everyone. Bye. All right. So we are going to get rid of this because I want to make sure. Let me get rid of this. Broadcast. There you go. So, poof, it's gone. Now, the only way people can see it is on the YouTube channel. Why did I do that? Part of it is to give people the opportunity to get more content, like I said, on by hopping over to YouTube when it becomes available. I also wanted to talk about some of the stuff that also came up in the Salt Cave for me today, because there were some really interesting things that surfaced. Like I had said earlier, I tend to use moments like that for myself to kind of help with cleansing, clearing, and doing my own, you know, body work that's needed, especially as being anyone that is part of this type of community knows that you have to make sure that you're grounded and anchored, especially now. Also super thirsty from the salt cave and super tired. But one of the things that I wanted to mention, there were some things that came up in the cave that I was shown some details on that I thought were kind of interesting and a little scary, not gonna lie. Little bit nervous about this, but we're gonna go with it. The message that I got, like I said, not only like be like the Nile and go with the flow. That is something that was really important. It was an important message, not for me, just for me, but for everybody, because these are certainly very difficult and trying times right now. But the other thing that came up was the fact that right now, with everything that's going on in the world, whether it be the United States, whether it be Canada, whether it be Middle East, etc. Right now, our timeline is paralleled to the 14th century. Our timeline, I'm going to repeat that because it took me a while to kind of figure out what that meant. Our timeline is parallel to the 14th century and what happened there. Now, looking back on the 7 historical events that happened in the 14th century, I'm going to be honest, wasn't exactly rosy. You know, we had the plague. We had the richest man in history walked the earth. We had self-proclaimed sword of Islam and military strategic conqueror who stepped forward. He actually passed. There was a little ice age. There was a peasant revolt, the 100 Years' War, and the end of the Knights Templar. There was also, during this time, a push to really, how do I say this? I don't want to get censored. Streamline and take power of things, okay? And it seems like there is a repeat of this, which is why the message of our timeline now is running parallel to the 14th century. So we have free will, right? We have the ability to change things to some degree. Are we going to allow this to unfold and be a very uphill time for us? Or are we going to make changes in order to prevent these things from happening again? I do feel like some of the things have already started looking very familiar. And I do feel like there are some things that we definitely want to make sure we don't repeat. All right. It's interesting. The thing that really stood out for me was the end of the Knights Templar, which basically underwent a whole um it was basically the burning times. You know, it was basically the burning times and it was all about power. So it was all about power that's very high up, and it's all about that stuff. So I thought that was interesting and important to bring up simply because this is something that was coming out so strong. Yes, we got to go with the flow on things. But I almost feel like that flow is more so for our personal stuff. But we also need to be careful with some of these other things that are running along a very similar trajectory. All right. I'm gonna phrase it like that, a very similar trajectory. And there's a lot of similarities that I'm seeing then that I'm also starting to see now. So keep that in the back of your mind. Um, that's one thing that I wanted to mention that came up today. The other thing that I wanted to mention that I actually did some journeying work with Sekhmet today. And I was really she was actually doing a healing on me, which I was really pleased about. But she also showed me some connections that dealt with other dimensions. So there's going to be some things that come up that tie into other portals, other dimensions that may very well make their presence known, may very well be more I don't want to say mainstream because I don't think that they're really going to be mainstream, but I feel like there's going to be more feasibility of people or these dimensional kind of things kind of intersecting is the best way to describe it. Okay. So that is something to also mention. She actually took me, as you know, I was in Egypt, and I was in the chapel where her statue is there in Karnak. And in this journey, she took me into that temple. And while I was there, and this is like while I was there last time, like in real life, I actually discovered that there's actually a portal um just behind the statue, just kind of behind and to the left of the statue. So in this case, she actually took me through that portal and we actually walked through. I hate this sounds weird, but it was like we walked through space that was all around us, but we were actually in the process of going from where we were to a certain point. And it allowed us to go to a very special location that is usually reserved for very if I say high holy work, very high spiritual work. um that's kind of where we went. Part of it was part of my own personal temple that I have in the astral, but we went through space to get to that astral temple that was in a different place. So it was very interesting. I was really honored to actually get there and see it and have her do work on me. Um, Energetic spiritual work on me. I really appreciated that. And if you ever have the opportunity to explore one of those locations, like I said, with where I was today, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely something that gives you a really great opportunity, and also helps you with um, grounding and anchoring too, because you need to do that, especially if you're doing astral travel and spiritual work like that. Okay. So I hope everyone has a great day, evening, morning, whenever you're seeing this. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. And again, check out the Eventbrite page with all of our events. Um, Again, I'm actually offering opportunities for people to be able to connect with me and do one-on-one personal spiritual training. If you're interested in learning more about that, please let me know. If you feel like you're in the process of just starting to kind of open up and you're kind of unsure as to what's going on, and we've all been through that, then let me know. I'm happy to work with you. I'm happy to help guide you in such a way where you're able to kind of really understand why and how you're under why are you getting this information, and what should you be doing with it, and how should you work with it, and things like that. So we definitely do a lot of work with that. Again, we're located at 24 Brown Street in Wickford, Rhode Island. I do a lot internationally as well as in person. So I hope to hear from you. Again, the email, Tori, Tori, at avalonenchanted.com. Peace. Bye, everyone.